Hey, how we doing? It's JT from hoagiesgarage.com. Just hitting everybody up with the update for this week. Kind of wanted to start off with what's going on with this car. I'm in the Trailblazer SS that is currently for sale. What's interesting, and I've never really done this before, this could be potentially the last drive I ever take in this car. I filmed the last oil change a few weeks ago. Yeah, I got a guy, he's coming up from Columbus. Take a look. Potentially could buy it today. So we'll see. Should be kind of interesting. This is an interesting sell because, in all honesty, I'm not getting rid of this car because I dislike it. I'm sick of it. This has been an unbelievably awesome car. I love this thing. It's just, it does everything you want it to and then some. It's not a racetrack car. It's not a, I mean, it is if you build them right, but in this form, it's just a great car to drive, and it's a great car to haul around my family, and it's comfortable. It's just great, and it just, I don't know how to describe it. It's just like this perfect, like, fun, fast car. That's all there is to it. The one negative though with it, and I've said this I think on other videos, is the gas mileage I average in this thing. I think if you took it over the life I've had it for the past 4 years or so, 13 miles per gallon. Yeah, it's pretty bad, but at the same time, I mean, just listen to this sound. That's just right there. It's like that V-Series I had a few months ago. It's like, just makes it all better. And when you have a sound like that, you want to always hear it, which means you're always hammering on it. But, oh, it's just such a fun car. Now, the reason for this sale isn't necessarily out of necessity. It's not out of operating costs are too high. It's more than anything, this is kind of one of those cars I look at. Nothing really major's broken. And I've had it for roughly 50,000 miles. It's right at about 82,700 miles. So as much as I want to say, like, yeah, you know, it's real expensive to drive with gas mileage, it is, but at the same time, it's worth it. The thing with this car, though, is nothing's broken on it, and it's right at that point where I can kind of almost break even. I'm almost going to sell it for what I paid for it, and that, to me, is like a double victory in every sense of the way with owning a car. I don't normally do that. I have a Camaro I'm selling. I've driven it literally 100,000 miles, and I am not going to break even on that car at all. My first car was a Jeep Wrangler. Definitely didn't break even on that. If anything, we lost money on that, but I also drove it for over 10 years. This thing being 4 years, 50,000 miles, selling it for nearly what I paid for it, totally a win for sure. So with all that being said, the only real reason I'm getting rid of this is because I'm trying to save money. I don't want to dump $4,000 into the front diff when it goes one day, because it definitely will. These are well known for that. I don't abuse this car, so I think that's why it's been so reliable, and I don't have the problems that the rest of the online world has. But you ask them, they're going to say I'm lucky, which is probably true. You have a front diff running through the oil pan. It's like, what do you expect is going to happen with 400 plus horsepower? I get it. But, you know, it's been a great car. I can't complain. A few of the things done to this, PCM for less engine transmission tune, Hotchkiss sway bars, friends at PML covers sent us the transmission pan cover, holds more fluid, which lowers operating temperatures. Got a catch can under the hood, electric fans, obviously free up some horsepower from the factory setup. I think that's about it. Oh, and the obviously the SLP exhaust you hear out the back. Not all of it was done by me, but you know, it's been a great car. Interior's flawless. Even though Lily rode in it, she didn't beat it up or anything. It's just been a great car, and I'm kind of sad to see it go. You know, the one thing I found to love about this car is it's one of those cars that you just can't explain to people. Nobody gets it. There's, you know, if you own one, you get it. If you're in that world of Chevy V8s, high performance cars, you get it, but that's not many of us. It really isn't. And you know, when you have a car like this that looks like this, nobody really knows what it is, and that's just okay. It kind of blends in. It sort of just, you know, looks like you slap some chrome wheels on and that's the end of it. But I mean, it's just such a cool car. It really is. Like, Chevy did a great job with this thing. And as much as you'll say, like, yeah, that was the era where it was an in-between area. It wasn't that time period when General Motors really knew what they were doing, kind of like they do now. But they were doing better than they did in the 90s. And they still made good stuff in the 90s. I'm not, you know, negating that. But this car was kind of one of those times when everything had an SS badge. You could get a Malibu SS. You could get a Silverado SS. You could get everything. This was one of the few that made it out that actually deserved the SS badge. It wasn't one that they just threw it on there, put some, you know, sweet looking front and rear fascias on and called it a day. They put some time into this thing. They took it to Germany to tune it. They did everything that was kind of meant to make a Trailblazer actually good. And when you see this and you compare it to what a Trailblazer looks like now, it is amazing how much they cleaned it up and removed all the crap and just, oh, it's such a better car. But with that being said, I won't say my time with Trailblazer SSs is done. I could always possibly get one in the future. My dad still owns one, so I can go get my fix here now and then. But it's time to move on, and I'm hoping here when this guy meets me in about 15 minutes, we can, you know, settle the details, get it moved, and kind of send it to its next owner, because I mean, I really don't have the room for it. That's the biggest thing. I've got the Subaru now, the Impala's coming along. So if this does sell, the next move is selling my my car, my first like real car that I bought with my own money, my Camaro SS. So that'll be next. But yeah, so we'll see what happens here. I'll kind of check back in and kind of, it'll probably be like, boom, so sad I didn't sell it. So we'll see what happens here after the next hour or so with this guy. Have to take a minute and show you guys this factory navigation. It is just the best. This was like something like $3,000 back in the day, $2,000 to upgrade this in your car. I mean, it looks like it's out of an old Super Nintendo or something. It's unbelievable. I mean, it works. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you have to pick your area where you want it to be. Like, I'm in the wrong area. I need to be area 6. And then it knows where to pull on the map disc. But if you take the disc out of here, and by the way, the disc came in like a DVD container. If you lose your disc, you're SOL. That's all there is to it. But yeah, it has navigation. I mean, give it that. But geez, it's definitely showing its age. But overall, kind of cool. I still want to know, maybe somebody will tell me, why they made 1 gauge silver. Why just one? I know we do all of them sometimes. That was a big thing in the 90s. The white overlays were a big deal. But why just one over there? If anybody knows why, leave a comment and let me know. So curious. I've wondered since this car came out. Alright, so I have something to show you. 1 car. 2 cars. The Trailblazer sold. It's gone. I seem overly happy about it. I get it, but it's like, it's such a relief. It just is. Anytime you have a car you're about to sell, you worry something's going to break, you're going to have to put unnecessary money in. Like 2 months ago, big crack right across the windshield. horrible. I just spent $150 on a car that I'm never going to enjoy that windshield. I'm never going to use it. And now it's at least it's completely gone and it's out of my hands now. Guy came up from Columbus, real nice. Paid pretty close what I was asking for. It was a good deal for them, good deal for me. It's one of those rare times where I didn't lose too much money on this deal over the past 4 or 5 years, because that's the kind of car that kind of holds its value. So, but yeah, so happy. I'm happy for them because it's a really fun car to drive. They're having a family coming up, so it's definitely the car you want for a family car instead of like a SS Camaro or a Corvette. Definitely a good compromise car. So yeah, moving on to the next thing here. I don't know what's next other than the Impala. Got the Subaru, and then, which it's not here, my Camaro, which will be sold next. I got to get that ready, prepped, cleaned up, and gone. So if you're interested in a 98 Camaro SS, pretty well modified for performance, things like that, that'll be shown next here in the garage. I'm guessing in another couple weeks. So I wanted to show these because this is pretty crazy. I saw these and I had to get them from Meguiar's. They were just like this crazy product that the title just kind of made me curious. They're called Bug Splatter Sponges. Now, usually when our cars are dirty, boom, you go take it to the car wash, done. Kind of takes care of it. You wash the whole car. These kind of eliminate a step. I look at sort of like a detail spray. Like there's that time you get your car washed, a bird goes on it, you get some detail spray, rub it off of there. So you get your car washed, you drive down the highway to a car show, to whatever, you notice there's like bugs down the front. You hit that swarm of mosquitoes on a night cruise, something along those lines. You don't necessarily want to use just detail spray on those bugs because it could potentially scratch your paint, damage your paint. This is more of a pre-wash type thing where it's got a gritty type surface on the sponge. It's kind of I'll say lubricated, like with like a water, a soap mixture, and the sponge just really scrapes the bugs right off of there. I love the directions. It says use it in a circular fashion to dissolve away bug residue. I swear it said somewhere on here to use on bug biology parts or bug residue. I don't know. It's just very funny. Soft foam carries away any remaining organic debris. So it is an organic, bug cleaner thing. But definitely a funny name. I don't know. It seemed kind of clever. I thought they were really cool. I'm going to open one here and show you. This is the Bug Splatter Sponge. Let me show you how it works here. It comes in these individualized little packs. Alright, so you can see me, you can see my reflection. Here's some bugs. Basically, you take this side of it, which is kind of a nappy, they call it the napped side, and then there's a sponge side. You take the nap side and you rub it on here to scrape away the bugs, and if you notice, here's a good one up here. Let's see if I can angle this so you can see this. I apologize for the lighting. It's got just enough abrasive on the sponge to wipe away the bugs. And then you can use this side, it says, to carry away the extra debris. A few paint chips on this car, of course. And then it says follow up by washing your car using detail spray, something like that. Yeah, I mean, there's a few other like spots here. You really could do your whole front bumper with this if you were aggressive and you wanted to pre-wash your car. Like here's another little bit here. I mean, you can feel it catching on the different pieces and sort of thing, but it kind of leaves your bumper with this soapy looking residue, which I'm just going to rinse off. So that's the Bug Splatter Sponge from Meguiar's, a pack of 5. which is the box I have here. Right now running $9.75 on Amazon. I don't know, kind of something cool. I look at it as one of those things you can keep one or two in your trunk. Say you're stopping like after a road trip and you want to just kind of clean the front of your car off. You could do that, take your ice bucket from the hotel room, dump some water on there, you're done. That's it. And it gets rid of, you know, that bug residue that builds up, hardens, and just turns into like just tough to get off of there. So definitely a neat little idea from Meguiar's. Check that out, the Bug Splatter Sponge. So I'm sure you're curious what's going on with the Impala. Hate to say it, not much this week. Super busy at work. Tuesday I got some kind of stomach thing, which I was down and out and half asleep the whole day, and then just busyness at work. But the one thing I am dealing with now, I'm trying to lock down the compression ratio for the new engine for the PCM programming. Long story short, I've said it before, my dad spec'd the engine, he bought the heads, everything like that, and you know, it's coming up on it's like 5 years it's been in the crate, and it's kind of like we finally got around to doing the project. So just trying to iron out those details for the tune, but either way it's gonna run. I think it'll be fine to start it, but just trying to figure that out. I did get last week radiator off, electric fans, condenser, which sitting there. Next move is I was going to get the radiator checked by somebody local, just sort of like a pressure check, see if it's okay. Still have a few more things to disconnect under the hood, so I'll be getting into that this week, sort of showing you some progress. So next week's video is probably going to be sort of cut up from, you know, the past, you know, for like a few days thrown in there and stuff, so I probably will be, you know, random and just sort of jumping all over the place. But yeah, it's coming along. I also did some research. I do have that Racetronics fuel pump, Racetronics hot wire kit, just sort of like reading up on how to do that. So if you've done that and any tips you want to offer on that, that's going to be done after the motor. I just want to start it, make sure it runs, current setup. I don't want to be, you know, having a startup issue and not knowing what is happening with something else. I'm trying to limit the issues that it could potentially prohibit that first startup, which I'm pretty excited to do. So we're getting there. It's just stuff goes on in my life that keeps me out of the garage, and if I could do this just for a week straight, I think I could have it running in like 3 days, but impossible right now. So that's sort of the latest on the Impala. Nothing too crazy though. I mentioned this last week in my update. Holley throttle body for the Impala over here. I'm gonna put it on eBay. It'll probably be on there when I post this video. If you're watching this in the future, sorry, it's probably already gone. But 52 millimeter Holley throttle body, never been used. They don't make them anymore. So yeah, if you're interested in this, it'll be on eBay this week, because I want to get my new one purchased, 58 millimeter. If you have any recommendations, let me know what you recommend. You hear bad things about like a BBK. One of the big things with this was that the airfoil thing that everybody would add to their factory ones was kind of, you know, machined into this one. This is kind of machined out of one solid piece of aluminum. So I don't want one that was like a reconditioned factory one. They took a 52 millimeter and just, you know, messed it up or something like that. I want like a decent one. I don't really know though much about them, you know, as far as interchangeability, because you see some really nice ones that fit Camaros, Corvettes, but I don't know if they transition to this one. So if you have any input on this, leave a comment or something like that. But yeah, this one's just, I mean, it for a stock motor, perfect. For a mildly modded motor, perfect. But I think for this particular setup, I think it's going to be it'll work, but it's definitely going to be a say a bottleneck on the air intake side of things. So going with the big guy on eBay, probably right now if you're watching this within a week of the video posting. So as I do these weekly updates, you know, I'm gonna be sort of showing, I guess, everything that's kind of going on, what I have, what's being updated. I mentioned last week here on my Subaru the since the Trailblazer's gone, this is now the official year-round car of the garage. Impala clearly is not a winter car. It's just all there is to it. And then that's obviously my my wife's Sonic right there. But I wanted to show this thing, and this wasn't sent to us or anything. Actually, I had to order this, but the intercooler on the Subaru here, if I kind of go like this and show you, I don't know if you can get that. There's no guard or anything. Like my Camaro has some baffling, has some different things that are protective so you don't get junk in your engine bay. This car, not so much. And that kind of freaked me out because I was like, well, what if something comes and starts hitting inside there, hits the intercooler, which does happen. And I actually already had a few random hits on there. But this guard, it's a metal frame, and it's just sort of bolted on there. It's really nothing fancy, and it's just really some, it actually feels like more of a plasticky mesh on top of there. Then they paint STI on it. And yeah, and I this is the first time I've opened it in a week, but you can see I've already caught 2 pretty good-sized bugs in there, which it doesn't. There's not really like, it's not like a radiator where it'll leak or anything, but you know, nothing to me. Nothing's worse than a beat-up intercooler that's, you know, all dented and the fins are bent and everything. So cheap little part to keep it, we'll say, new under there.